The next operation I want to talk about is curve extract, which also has a place in edit mode. Hovering over any of these will show their tooltip, which is essential towards gaining understanding of what we intend to do with them. Its main purpose is to convert an edge to a curve. So to show that in action, my favorite way to show it is to just grab an edge and bevel it manually, and we'll just control click from one edge to another. And if we were to curve extract, it basically will convert this into a curve. That's what its edit mode operation does. Its edit mode operation does. In object mode, it will basically convert the entire mesh into curves, which is a different way of approaching things, but it does exist in object mode for reasons that users may need. Like, for example, if I were to take a plane and just bevel it, I can just go under operations and just convert this into a curve very quickly. In fact, a very popular thing I like to do when I'm modeling is I will just model something like so, do a difference, and then I'll do something like QOT to do a 2 shape, but I'll do it to a plane and I'll set it to like an axis and then just hit it with a 2D bevel, and then either control click smart apply, which also has the ability to convert something to a curve while removing the original mesh. I could also just go under operations and use curve extract to just turn this into a mesh, but it does require that I probably go in and delete this or hide it and then make fine adjustments to just put something like this inside of a mesh. But that's one of the reasons that curve extract exists in the operations area. Another purpose that it has is the ability to extract geometry. However, this is stuff that more than likely you won't be able to use as much in object mode as you would in edit mode. So if we go into edit mode, we can see that curve extract is one of the first options that you see next to mark and of course your modifiers, which are the most dominating edit mode options. By control clicking this, we are able to grab this and convert this. Let's try that again. By control clicking this, we can actually, okay, I messed up. By shift clicking this, you can actually turn this to a plate. My mistake there, where we can then bevel this and begin dealing with this as its own object. And you can just select different sides and do this to your heart's content, converting things to curves, shift clicking to convert them to plates, going into edit mode and setting, inverting your selection, deleting it so it fits around your curves that you accidentally added. When it comes to curves, I find that, you know, by having a little bit of rounding on the edges, you're able to get the most out of it. So something like that will result in a nicer curve. But there also are curve options where you could press V to change the transitioning between, you know, splines, nerves, Bezier, polys. However, I always generally keep it at its default type. So that is basically extraction in a nutshell. However, there is some advanced extraction behaviors that are able to be done. For example, one of the things that I hate doing is duplicating a mesh, pressing P, going into object mode, selecting the right mesh, moving it around, tabbing back into edit mode, and then I know that I'm actually on this new mesh that I can begin playing with, which is just kind of a strange way to work. Instead, I find that it's nicer to be able to go into edit mode, and then under curve extract, we see that we have just control clicking it, which will turn this into a piece. So now that this is a piece, I can actually do that, and there's just a lot less headaches involved. I can just flatten these pieces out, of course, or use EM macro and start turning this into what I need, start beveling in this without taking any consideration of what it's doing to geometry on the side, because I know that in object mode, I can always just clean the mesh and it will just clean this up to its simplest form, getting rid of any degenerate coplanar geometry. But that's basically another one of the additional uses you can get out of curve extract. If we hover over in edit mode, we also see that there's an alt version where if you alt click it, you can basically destructively convert a face into a curve, which is something that I rarely use and I still have questions about its existence. But if we undo and go back to it, we can actually see that alt shift will actually destructively convert something to a plate, basically removing its face. So if you were just trying to just turn something into plates over the course of a model, you could just alt shift click this and just rip these pieces off, separating them from the original form, allowing you to create a completely different shape than what you were originally dealing with. But curve extract is there simply to help you on your way. And the object mode version, even though it doesn't have to exist, still has a use just by being able to convert things to curves on the fly. But also it's worth noting that Smart Apply originally had that with the control click. It was able to just convert geometry to curves, but with this, it won't convert illogical geometry. For example, this is a rather complex mesh that we're trying to convert, so it is the type of thing that would only convert two-dimensional geometry, ideally. Otherwise, it will throw you an error, which is a better way of dealing with things than just completely destroying your geometry. But just to let you know, Curve Extract is there for you.